4, 3, 2, 1.
It is a brand new day at Monster Jam New Generation as we have ourselves a treat for all of you guys watching this channel. We have a nice track layout for this specific tournament coming up, and we also have ourselves a wide variety of trucks that will compete in the first round of the tournament. This right here is a new tournament that no one has ever seen in the history of Monster Jam diecast history, the largest of which is about to come. This is the Steel Titan Cup. What is going on, everybody? This is Rainbow X here for Monster Jam New Generation, and today we have 42 trucks competing in the first round of the Steel Titan Cup here, including some special schemes ran by some of our trucks, including some newbies that were planned to make their appearance in the second season. Now, after this one, we have ourselves some special schemes like the Kaleidoscope Megalodon. We also have Mossberg Dalmatian Ice. We also have the Black Thunder Roars, including the Blue Velociraptor. We also have ourselves Fire Whiplash, Ice El Toro Loco, and we also have the Purple Jester making its appearance as well, including some newbies like K-Rex, Lunatic, and Escalade, JCB Digatron, and more coming along your way. We're going to look at the rules one more time, and if you guys haven't seen the rules and guide video that I've made right after I made the Series 41 review video, a couple of you guys have not actually watched that video, and so for this, I'm going to explain the rules again one more time in a short context, just to let you guys know how the game works for the Steel Titan Cup. So, the Steel Titan Cup is the largest tournament in Monster Jam New Generation, where every single truck in the roster all compete against each other for the prize. Each round of the Steel Titan Cup occurs after each qualifying round. Every truck will be randomly paired with another truck. Once they've been selected, they will face each other in the tournament bracket style. Once a truck defeats their opponent, it will face off their next opponent in the second round, and so on. If a truck loses, no matter where they are out. Everyone has one chance to make it through. As the next few rounds commence, they follow the same procedure over and over again until there are 2 trucks left in the cup. The final round will have one singular race, and once a truck wins the final, they will be crowned champion and earn the title Steel King or Queen. This also opens a spot for the Super Cup. First things first, for the first race of the Steel Titan Cup, we have ourselves Justin Parker in the Kaleidoscope Megalodon facing off against Casimiro Barrito and Bro Camino. These two are going head-to-head against each other as the first race of the Steel Titan Cup. And here they go down to the track. Bro Camino having the lead there. And look at some trouble over here for Bro Camino as Justin Parker makes his way through, getting some big air. Let's take a look at that replay right here in just a moment. As you can see, these 2 trucks fall down to the track, getting some big air from Kaleidoscope Megalodon, and there he goes, finishing off the track there. So that's how every single Steel Titan Cup match will play out. Speaking of which, we have our next match, Damian Bass and Stonecrusher facing off against a newbie, Dominique Webster in K-Rex. Here they go down to the track. You can see K-Rex already having the lead there, getting some huge here, and Stonecrusher falls pursuit, and K-Rex crashes. And those two are going to stop at the middle of the track there. We're going to have to go for a re-race in this one. You're going to see some more newbie trucks like Sharkbite and a bunch of others here. But now it's K-Rex and Stonecrusher as they head down to the track for the second time. Both of them neck and neck there, and K-Rex is off the track. And Stonecrusher having some issues, but it seems like that will be enough for them to qualify for the next round. Here's a look at the replay here. As you can see, K-Rex having the lead, getting some huge air, but he bumps into the sidewall and crashes. And there goes Stonecrusher as he makes a full stop for the match. For the next match, we have ourselves a newbie facing off against a veteran. It is Connor Lyons and Swinadash facing off against Lexi Rose in Lunatic. Lunatic is another one of these newbie trucks competing for the Steel Titan Cup. And here they go down to the track. You see both of them neck and neck. Swinadash tries to perform a backflip, and there goes Lexi Rose and Lunatic free at last, and they make it to the finish line. Not sure what happened to Swinadash, but we're going to go for the replay in just a moment. From what I've heard, apparently Connor Lyons is trying to attempt an aerial backflip, but that ended up failing, and there goes Lexi Rose and Lunatic crossing the finish line, and at a pretty fast pace as well. So we're going to move on to our next race here. We have Sebastian Colton and Team Hot Wheels Firestorm facing off against Charlotte Watson and the Mossberg Dalmatian Ice. And these two head down to the track, and you can see both of them neck and neck, getting some huge air. Sebastian falls off the track, and it seems like Mossberg Dalmatian Ice will crash as well, but still remain on the track. We're going to go for the replay. So here's a look at the replay of that insane air between these two. You can see both of them neck and neck. Look at that air from Sebastian. And there goes Charlotte, who crashes, but she will remain on the track nevertheless and will qualify for the next round due to the on-track rule. And for the next match, we have ourselves a good one here. Donald Carson in Double Decker will face off Cole Vennard in Black Pearl. These two are ready to go as they are ready to head down to the track. You can see both of them neck and neck with each other, getting some huge air, and it seems like Cole Vennard is going to ride the wall, and oh no. Something happened. And we have drone footage here, but the video is not good, as the video for some reason is very choppy. There's a little note on the top left corner there, but you could see Cole Vennard's truck almost gone from the track, and oh my goodness, look at the spike, look at the scorpion tail almost hitting the inside of the truck. That would have been a catastrophe here, but good thing it didn't fully go in, as the tube itself is small, but the truck itself does not touch the ground, so therefore it will be allowed to race again against Donald Carson. And that is what's going to happen next. And they are ready to go, and they are heading down to the track. Both of them neck and neck again. They're going to get some huge air, and Donald Carson falls, and there goes Cole Vennard performing a wheelie. We're going to go for the replay. As you can see the footage here, both of them getting some huge air. You could see Donald's truck slipping outside of the stadium, and we had to switch spots for the Scoops truck. For the next match, we have Asher Hunt and the Black Thunder Roars will be facing Gabriel Burns and Flash. And these two are ready to go as they head down to the track, both of them neck and neck, getting some huge air, and it seems like it's going to be a close race, but Flash steals the show from Black Thunder Roars, and it will be a great race here. Let's check out the replay. As we take a look at the replay here from these two drivers, you could see that Asher had the lead. They both get some huge air. If it weren't for that save by Gabriel, then he wouldn't have won, but he intercepted against Thunder Roars, and we'll move on to the next round. For our next race, we have Toby Riley in Radical Rescue facing off a newcomer driving in an Escalade, Michael Perry. And here they go, they head down to the track. You can see both of them neck and neck with each other, getting some huge air. And it looks like Escalade loses some control, and so does Toby Riley in Radical Rescue. And Escalade comes to a stop, but it looks to be like he crossed the finish line. As we take a look at the replay from that insane race between these two, you can see the change in direction. First, Radical Rescue had the lead, but then Escalade saved themselves from the wall, and they come to a complete stop, and you can see Radical Rescue rolling in the background. And for the next race, we have Ryan Davis in Horsepower facing off a newcomer, Dominic Lawson, in the Shield truck. And there they go down to the track as they are both neck and neck. You can see they collide into each other. It looks like Ryan Davis and Dominic Lawson will land, well, at least Dominic will land on the Dirt Crew Squad truck. We're going to re-race for these two. And here they go. Once again, they head down to the track. Both of them getting some huge air. And it looks like Ryan Davis goes out of the stadium and makes a perfect save. I don't know what happened to Dominic, but we're checking out the replay for this one. As you can see from the race here, or the second race from these two, Dominic had the lead, but look at how well Ryan Davis saved Horsepower. And there goes the Shield truck on the ground. And for the next one, we have Rex Yates in the Blue Velociraptor, who will face off against Cyclops Hobbies and Cyclops. These two are ready to go, and they're heading down to the track. Blue Velociraptor in the lead, getting some huge distance, and you can see they both crash into the shipper, but it seems like Cyclops Hobbies and Cyclops will move on. Let's check out the replay from these two. As you can see, from what we saw from the race, you could see that the Blue Velociraptor truck had managed to pick up an early lead, but falls short. Regardless, Cyclops Hobbies manages to pick up the win despite hitting the sidewall, and Blue Velociraptor will be seeing them another time. Here's an interesting race for you guys. Sujita Chise in Wasabi Warrior facing off against Kenny Green and SpongeBob SquarePants. It's a battle of the hefty trucks that they head down to the track. Both of them getting some huge air, and look what just happened to Kenny Green. We may have just seen the biggest air from Kenny Green, but I don't know if something happened to the truck. But regardless, he's going back onto the track to race Tsujita again. And there he goes again, getting some more huge air, and I think he's going to hit something from the truck, and there goes Tsujita, who somehow saved it. What concerns me is that SpongeBob's wheels are still spinning after that crash, so we're going to look at the replay and digest what just happened. So you can see both of them neck and neck. Wasabi Warrior attempted an aerial backflip, almost escaped the stadium, but saved herself by grinding on the rail. And I'm getting word that SpongeBob SquarePants will not be allowed to move on, as the axle has been totaled after that first crash. Next we have Nero Theory and Earthshaker facing off against Phoebe Richards and Tropical Thunder, and they head down to the track. Earthshaker gets some huge air, and Tropical Thunder escapes the carnage and will come to a complete stop at the finish line. Let's look at the replay one more time. As you can see from that quick race that I didn't get a chance to commentate, you could see that both Earthshaker had the big lead, getting some huge air, but crashes and misses the ramp. And there goes Tropical Thunder, who comes to a complete stop. And we'll move on. Next, we have Kate Lawson in the female zombie, who will face Bradley Hamilton in Grease Trap. And they are ready to go as they head down to the track. Grease Trap attempted another aerial backflip, and something happened between Kate Lawson as well. But these two are going to race again. They are ready for the second race after that pause. And they are ready to go. Both of them getting some huge air. Another attempted aerial backflip. And something happened between the female zombie. And they slowly crawl out of the stadium. I don't know if that's a forfeit or maybe something with the truck. But we're checking out the replay for this one. As you can see from these races, these are getting wilder by the second. But there goes Grease Trap. And look at female zombie. They stay there for a moment, but then they slip out of the track. Almost like a forfeit. And Grease Trap will move on. This next race will be very interesting as we have Takis Petridus and Tempest Steed facing off against Tristan England and JCB Digatron, which is a new truck coming for next season. I'm really excited to see what they do on the track. And they're ready to go. You can see the big air between these two. Big sky wheelie from Tempest Steed, but look at JCB Digatron continuing on the race. And it looks like their back right tire will touch the finish line and win the race. Let's check out the replay. As you can see from this race right here, both of them neck and neck. Big air, sky wheelie from Tempest Steed, but look at Tristan England and JSB Digatron. The way they continue to race on and touch the finish line with their back right tire is remarkable. This next race will be a big one right here, as we have another veteran facing off against a newcomer. Katie Bradley and Fuel Academy will face Brooke O'Connor in the Nissan Skyline GTR. And they're ready to go as they head down to the track. Both of them neck and neck, getting some huge air, and Katie Bradley will kung fu kick Brooke O'Connor out of the track. And look at them positioning themselves, and it seems like they have a rivalry with each other. I think this might be the beginning of a rivalry, because no way that another truck would kung fu kick another and pose right after they fail and not win. And there goes Fuel Academy as they show off in this one. Our next race, we have Roman Marsh and Nightmare, who will face off against Caden Ford and Excalibur. The specific Excalibur has the light bar, and as they head down to the track, both of them getting some huge air. Caden Ford manages to save himself from the grind, and you could see trying to save it, but no, he falls as well. And we're going for a re-race between these two, and as they are ready to go, they are ready to head down to the track in just a moment. Just a little stick up with the lighting, and there they go down to the track. You can see Caden Ford getting some huge air. They both nudge into each other, and it looks like Caden Ford will finish the race strong. Let's check out the replay from these two. A little bit of some issues with the starting line, not sure why, but here they go. You can see Caden Ford already having the lead, getting some big distance in air, and there goes Roman Marsh, who falls, and Caden Ford will move on to the next round. And for the next race of the Steel Titan Cup, we have Haley Love in the Fire Whiplash, who will face off against Dawson Barnes and Winter Soldier. And they are already down to the track. Big air from Dawson Barnes, and it seems like they are coming to a complete stop after they crashed into each other. We're going to go for another race in this one. They are ready to go as they are down to the track. They go, both of them neck and neck, getting some big air. Dawson loses some control and he hits the sidewall and will crash outside, meaning that Haley Love in Whiplash will win this one. Here's a look at the replay. As you can see from these two, as I said, they are neck and neck, but look at the way Dawson reacted to the ramp. He slips and lands outside the track. Haley will move on. And next we have Luca Schmidt in the Burnt Victim Zombie facing off against Joseph Richards and War Machine. And they are ready to go as they are heading down to the track. Joseph Richards gets some huge air, and it looks like the Burnt Zombie Victim, has fallen off the track. We're going for the replay just to analyze what just happened between these two racers. You can see they're both neck and neck. You can see Joseph Richards with a sky wheelie, and there goes the Burnt Zombie as they fall off the track. We're just getting close to the end of this round. We have Armando Castro and El Toro Loco Ice will face off against Alex Richards in BKT. And they are ready to go as they are heading down to the track. Both of them getting some big distance, and you can see the contact with each other. And Ice El Toro Loco slides and lands on the dirt crew truck. We're going for a second race here. And we're just about to wait. And there they go down to the track. Both of them are already close together, but BKT is already in the lead. BKT almost looks like they're about to win, but it looks like Ice El Toro Loco will block them. We are going for another race because these two keep contacting each other in terms of the track. But here they go again. Both of them getting some big distance and huge air, and Armando Castro falls off the track. And it seems like BKT will advance to the next round. Let's take a look at the replay. As you can see from this replay here, it looked like Armando Castro had the lead, but it looked like Alex Richards collided with Ice El Toro Loco, causing them to fall off the track like that. We're on our third to the last race here. Lucas Kelly and Rage, who will face off against Ian Souza in the Shark Bite. And we can see them going down to the track, getting some huge distance between these two. And it looked like Shark Bite was about to win, but blocked by Rage. We're going to be going for a second race here, as we need one truck to either cross the finish line or fall off the track. And they are ready to go as they are down to the track once again, getting some huge air. And it seems like that Ian Souza has fallen off, but perfectly saves himself there. Let's look at the replay. As you can see from these trucks from below, they're both down to the track, getting some big distance. Rage, though, what kind of crash was that? I'd never seen him crash that weirdly. I think he did a barrel roll. And for this one, our second to last race, we have Nick Pagliarulo moving on to Jester, and then Luke Hill and Overboard. We are ready to go as they are heading down to the track. Both of them getting some big distance and huge air, and it seems like that Nick Pagliarulo will lose it after Luke Hill advances on. Let's take a look at the replay. These two have been, racing pretty well recently in terms of their series individuals. And you could see that Overboard manages to surpass Jester after they crash, causing them to lose the race. And for our final match, we have Ryan Simpson and Bad Habit, who will face off against Colette Fraser in Ringling. And here they go, each one going down to the track. Colette Fraser was about to attempt a aerial backflip, but seems like they got stuck onto the track. But we are going for another race just to see which one of these trucks will advance. And here they go once again. They are heading down to the track. You can see Colette Fraser Kung Fu kicks Ryan Simpson out of the track, and there they go, which means that Colette Fraser will be the last truck to advance on from the starting 42. Let's look at the replay. You can see that Colette Fraser had the lead, attempted to actually surpass or transition to the other side of the track, Kung Fu kicking Ryan Simpson and Bad Habit, and there they go. With this, we have now determined ourselves the starting 42 survivalists. Here are the trucks from the starting 42 highlighted in green that will move on to the second and third round. We have Kaleidoscope Megalodon, Stone Crusher, Lunatic, Mossberg Dalmatian Ice, Black Pearl, Flash, an Escalade, Shield, Cyclops, Wasabi Warrior, Tropical Thunder, Grease Trap, JCB Digatron, Fuel Academy, Excalibur, Fire Whiplash, War Machine, BKT, Rage, Overboard, and Ringling. These are all the trucks that have won their individual matches from the starting 42, aka the first round of the Steel Titan Cup, and they will move on to the second and third round of the Steel Titan Cup. Next, we will be taking a look at each of the winners and their next opponent for the Steel Titan Cup in the second and third round. what you are looking at is a preview to the second round of the Steel Titan Cup, as well as the first half of the first 128 trucks competing for the Steel Titan Cup, as later on we will show you the other half of the first 128 trucks. What does this mean exactly? Well, the winners of the starting 42, which should be 21 different winners, will all compete in the first 128. However, they will be split into two, as each round will cover half of the winners from the starting 42. As we look at the first half of the first 128, Kaleidoscope Megalodon will face off against Time Flies, which will be probably an easy win for Kaleidoscope Megalodon unless Time Flies can absolutely shock the entire tournament. Next up, we have our defending champion, Pirate's Curse, facing off against Stone Crusher. And Pirate's Curse, off camera, was our Steel Titan Cup champion who defeated Jester in the final. But after Jester being eliminated by Overboard, it seems like we will have another runner-up if Pirate's Curse can defeat against Stone Crusher. Next up, we have Lunatic, who will face off against Bad News Travels Fast. This will be an equalized match, but I have my hands on Lunatic for this one. Next, Monster Dalmatian Ice will face off against Higher Education. This will be good to watch. Then we have Black Pearl facing off against Crush Cycle. This will be an interesting one, as Crush Cycle, will probably run the green paint scheme or will run the classic blue. Then we have the Flash, who will face off against the Biker Zombie. And then we have an Escalade, who will face Kingsling, which will be an interesting one, as these are old-timer trucks. Then we have the Shield Truck, who will face off against Samson, running on a darker blue paint scheme. Then we have Cyclops, who will face Hooked, which will be an interesting one to see. Wasabi Warrior will face Gravedigger the Legend, which will also be an interesting one to watch. And then we have Tropical Thunder, who will face off against Grandma Gravedigger. And from what I've heard, Grandma Gravedigger will run the original design instead of the World Finals version. For now, let's take a look at the other half of the first 128 and the other half of the winners from the starting 42. And here is a look at our second half of the first 128 trucks, and as well the other half of the winners from the starting 42. We have Grease Trap, who will face off against Carnage Asada, which will be a classic food truck chase piece match. Then we have JCB Digatron, who will face Zombie, which will be fun to see. Next is Fuel Academy, who will face off against Batman. And then right below we have Excalibur, who will face off against Calavera. Then Fire Whiplash will take on against Crush Station. And then next we have War Machine, who will face off against the Fire Avenger. This will be the first time we will see Fire Avenger out on the track, so this will be fun and exciting to watch. Then we have BKT, who will face off against Saigon Shaker, which will be interesting to see because Saigon Shaker has been doing well recently. And then we have Rage, who will face off against Octonator, which will be good to watch as well. Next we have Overboard, who will face off against Scarlet Bandit in this next one as well. Then we have Ringling, who will face off against Hurricane Force as the last winner of the starting 42, and so on. These matches right here will be exciting to watch, just to keep you in mind that the first half of the first 128 will be the second round. Meanwhile, the other half of the first 128 will be covered in the third round of the Steel Titan Cup. With this, we're going to conclude the video here. As we have already seen, we have seen some crazy rivalries, including some matches and some crazy saves and crashes between these competitors. Additionally, the Steel Titan Cup will occur after each qualifying round from the regular season, which means that we will see more Steel Titan Cup action right after qualifiers. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Rainbow X, and I will see you guys on the flip side.